I'm sick of looking at his face, hearing his voice just really still grates. The truth in what he says will never ever meet. Liars gotta lie, and cheaters gotta cheat. He cheated on all his wives and all his girlfriends. If it wasn't for his daddy's fat wallet, he wouldn't ever have a friend. If he ever really did, liars gonna lie, and cheaters gonna cheat. Those who have done some business with him are not very happy when paid nickels on the dollar. What looked like an opportunity turned out to be a trap. Liars just tell lies, and cheaters always cheat. So cozy up to him, but just really be aware. Although you might think he does, he doesn't really care. To him, any business partner is just another ruse, because liars gotta lie, and cheaters gotta cheat. It's a damn shame that too many fall for his lies. He promises them the moon and the skies, but to him, you're just another ruse. And this liar's gotta lie, and this cheater's gotta cheat. Stand up and look around. Look really hard at what's going down. What's going down is our democracy, and maybe your last chance to all remain free. Stand up and look around. Look really hard at people's frowns. They bought the lies that they were told. Some knew better, but those lies took hold. We should not make perfect the enemy of what is good. We should have been much better, as we really should, would and could. We were never perfect or exceptional, except when compared to them all. Stand up and look around. Look really hard at what just went down. Our nation and its history, deserved or not, gone now is its credibility. Stand up and look around. Look really hard at what what's happening now. It really worries me that you seem proud. You surely got your head as some cloud. You should not make perfect the enemy of what is good. We should have been much better, as we really should. Would and could. We were never perfect or exceptional, except when compared to them all. Stand up and look around. Look really hard at what's coming next. If you see a need to turn it all around, soon might be your very last chance. Look really hard for a change. It was never close to a landslide, despite their lame and false claims, but their egos demand it, and denials bring others pain, as they can't stand the facts ever getting in their way. He didn't have the largest crowd ever to assemble to celebrate his first win, but his ego demands it. So he lied continuously about it, as he can't let any of the facts ever get it in his way, because that is way, because their egos demand it, that everyone sees it their same way. Our nation bought all his lies, and the lies of the foxhole nation. Their egos all demanded, as the plain truth was flipped to lies, as they can't state any truthful facts that gets in their ego's way. So because he stole state secrets and kept them carelessly, my ego demands it, that my country holds him liable. But too many can't stand those facts. They were getting in their way of seeing him as some demigod that enables all their jealousy and hate, because their egos demand that everyone sees it their same way, because their egos demand that their hate will win the day. I've stopped looking to the past for inspiration for our nation, as maybe just perhaps the past isn't prologue, or just shouldn't be. One step follows another, so for some it surely follows that the past is indeed prologue for what is to come next. But is that what we need or want? But can't we hop the fences and take some different roads, on trails that lead to changes from what so many might have foretold? Or are we stuck with their nightmarish future, Do we live with some foretold fate, or can we change our track and see the opportunity to get back to some humanity in how we treat each other? It's an old story of the fight between the poor and the rich. Keep feeding that line of who the real enemy is as a distraction from their own actions. Who is it really? Who is behind the plans to keep the people down, scrambling where they will continue serve the needs of the rich, whose greed finds it necessary to keep a boot on the necks of the poor? Do we live with some foretold fate, or can we change our track and see the opportunity to get back to some humanity in how we treat each other? This isn't just my hope or wish to see this all turned all the way around. It is the hope and dreams of many who need to rise up and say that we'll all change. It's come election day, if there ever is another.
We're an insane nation who needs some agitation to stop all the aggravation that's taken our democracy down. We're an insane nation if we encourage laughification when our norms and laws are broken and the words spewed out are just tokens. If you had a dime for each and every crime, you'd be rich as well, living in the nightmarish hell that you supported. We're an insane nation who touts their Christianity. But if you take a real hard look, that's not what you will see. If you had a dime for each and every lie, you'd be rich as well, while the camels get so much bigger than the eyes of the needles. This is not our first rodeo, fighting the rich for ultimate control. We once trusted our trust busters, but the rich then did remuster their collective might and bought all of the media in sight. So we're fed a continuous stream of lies and deceptions in order to distract from the fact that we're being bled out as a nation, which is quite insane. And if you had a dime for each and every time you were told the same lie, you'd be rich as well, with an impoverished soul that's not worth a dime, but is worth your time to fight back. fed a continuous stream of lies and deceptions in order to distract from the fact that we're being bled out as a nation, which is quite insane. And if you had a dime, but is worth your time to fight back.
The disparity between you and me is about what you say versus what you do. And you still haven't got a clue, do you? Because you are so good at ignoring all the religious warnings of your Savior about your behavior. You chose to ignore the disparity between you and others that you've been told to treat as brothers. Is a gulf and our great divide between your and my side. From that truth you hide. The gulf between you and me is about what you do versus what you say. And you've still got no clue as of yet today. The disparity between you and me is about what you say versus what you do. And you still haven't got a clue what you should do differently. Our disparity is a fact that can't easily be mended. For when shown the facts, you just get offended. So you remain quite clueless about what the facts really are and what they are not. It's those opposing alternative facts that your mind can't seem to track, even when they're in stark contradiction to what you say. You've got conviction, and that's a sad fact. It's a very sad fact. Disparity between you and others that you've been told to treat as brothers is a gulf and our great divide between your and my side. From that truth you hide. The gulf between you and me is about what you do versus what you say. And you've still got no clue as of yet today. The disparity between you and me is about what you say versus what you do. And you still haven't got a clue what you should do differently. Fuck around and find out. It's the slogan of today. When some chose the absolutely wrong way forward, will you vocally challenge all the lies and untruths, as there are times when it is better to stand alone than not stand at all, said Mr. Green, standing to be both seen and heard. There's a price to pay. That's the sad truth of today. So many others have chosen the wrong way forward. So will you visibly challenge all the lies and untruths, as there are times when it is better to stand alone than not stand at all, said Mr. Green, standing up in a public forum to be seen and heard. Ooh, ooh. There are times when it is better to stand alone than not stand at all, said Mr. Green to us all, as there are times when it is better to stand alone than not stand at all, said Mr. Green to us all. Yes, there are times when it is better to stand alone than not stand at all, said Mr. Green in a public hall before he was dragged away. There's a price to pay. Fuck around and find out. It's the message of the day. So many have chosen the absolutely wrong way. And will you stand up and challenge all the lies and untruth being told, as there are times when it is better to stand alone than not stand at all, said Mr. Green, standing to be both heard and seen. Will you or will you not?
That's not a fact, Jack, unless you're still smoking crack or suffering from the remnants of your past poor behavior. Lies told as facts won't be your savior. You've been set on one another, on those who you're told is your brother, by those who have something to gain from your pain, our collective pain. It's all part of their grand plan to keep everyone busily distracted, so they can continue with their dishonesty. For you see, they've calculated their upside and minimize any risk to themselves. You've been aimed at one another, on those who you're told is your brother, by those who have something to gain from all the pain we cause one another. That's not a fact, Jack, but you won't take any of it back. When you are confronted with reality, you just refuse to see, 'cause you're in so deep. You've been
worried and distracted from what they still do to me and you. Just take a look around. If we're not more careful of who and what we believe, we can easily fall prey to those who would deceive us, causing many such grievous pain for their gain. So we dust ourselves after being thrown off our horses, and we look ahead to what recourses we have. But that's a major assumption, a distraction, that we'll even get another chance at the next election. As the last one, it just might have been the last one, our last rodeo. Was that our last rodeo to participate in? And was that our last chance to flip the sins of our collective thoughts and behaviors about how we treat our neighbors, whether near or whether far? They are all our neighbors here on planet Earth. Here on planet Earth, there's really enough to go around. If we only ignored the sound that comes from the hoarders who have scooped up all that they could, regardless of borders that are quite imaginary, drawn on a map, doesn't make them the final facts that should keep us separated. You've heard all the preachers speaking out of both sides of their mouths. I once asked, is it an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth? Or do you turn the other cheek? What the truth? Do you feed and clothe the poor and care for the health of all the sick? Or do you monetize that and charge a steep fee? Or do you turn back to what Jesus commanded, even though you'll be branded as the enemy of our democracy, which has been successfully hollowed out, as there's no doubt who is to gain by inflicting pain? Was that our last rodeo back in 2024? Was that our last chance to help the poor as our collective thoughts and behaviors about how we treat our neighbors is one to abhor? Whether they're near or whether far, they all are neighbors. Here on this planet we occupy, treat all others as you would wish to be treated, and nothing more. Is the end really near? Is that what drives many to fear? But is it due to their behavior, going against the words of their Savior? Is that what they fear? That the end is near? I would like to see the end being near of the worst of our actions, and see better traction of how we treat all others. Is the end really near? Is that what really drives so many to fear? That they have to provide some answers about their words and what they've done. Maybe it'll force some changes as they try align to what they always preached to one another, about treating each other as they wish to be treated themselves, which they preach but they don't practice. Is the end really near? Is that what drives many to fear? Is it due to their poor behavior, going against the words of their Savior? Is that what they should really fear, that the end is near? And they'll finally have to answer for their inconsistencies between what they say and what they do after Sunday mornings. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Do you want congratulations for the actions destroying our nation and our economy, which affects both you and me, unless you're really one of the wealthy rich? Do you expect our praise and congratulations, some parades and adulations for what you have wrought, for what you have fought to bring us to our knees, which will make it a breeze for you to scalp up quickly what's then for sale cheap? 'Cause you won't miss a beat and taking advantage of the misery you have caused for your own cause, for your own cause. Do you want congratulations for the actions destroying our nation and our economy, which affects both you and me, unless you're really rich? You put the rest of us in a ditch, and later you'll pitch to sell us what we once owned at prices and interest rates that are triple or more. Do you want congratulations for your plan to destroy our nation and our economy from within, and that affects both you and me, unless you're really one of the greedy rich? You'll happily see us all in a ditch, so later you'll be able to pitch and sell us back what we once owned at prices and interest rates that are out of sight and out of reach. So out of reach.
so out of reach. You won, congratulations, for the actions destroying our nation and our economy from within, and that affects both you and me. Unless you're really one of the greedy rich, you'll happily see us all in a ditch. So later you'll be able to pitch and sell us back what we once owned at prices and interest rates that are out of sight and out of reach. So out of reach. Whoa, congratulations. Oh, ooh, congratulations for your land to destroy our nation and our economy from within, and that affects both you and me. Unless you're really one of the greedy rich, you'll happily see us all in a ditch. So later you'll be able to pitch and sell us back what we once owned at prices and interest rates that are out of sight and out of reach. So out of reach. So out of reach. You can take all your inconsistencies of what you're screaming at me. You always want to tell me how to be, but that's not how you behave yourself, you see. And you can just buck off, bucko. You can just buck and shut the hell up. I'm so very tired of your nonsense. I've had more than enough. What you say and what you do, they are not anywhere near the same. You're of one mind on Sundays, but the rest of the week you've changed your tune. So you can just buck, bucko. You can just buck, bucko, and shut the hell up. We're so very tired of your nonsense. We've had more than enough. If I were to live by your example morally, I'd likely suffer from a split personality and find myself so broken mentally from your ongoing banality. So you can just bucko. You can just bucko and shut the fuck up. I so goddamn tired of your nonsense that I've had way more than enough. So please just buck off, bucko, and just buck yourself off and shut the hell up. I've had more enough. I've had quite enough. So shut the hell up.